Have you ever had an itch that just wouldn't go away? A tiny irritation under your skin, but no matter how much you scratch, it never stops. What if I told you that itch wasn't just an allergy or an insect bite, but something alive? I didn't believe it either. Not until it started moving, not until I saw what was underneath. This is my story, and if you're watching this, it might already be too late for you, too. It started with an itch, a tiny, insignificant itch on my forearm. I scratched absent-mindedly, barely thinking about it. Just a mosquito bite or maybe dry skin. But the itch didn't go away. In fact, it got worse. A few days later, I noticed something strange. The skin where I'd been scratching was slightly raised, like a tiny bump. It wasn't red, didn't hurt, just there. I pressed on it, feeling something hard beneath the surface. A small lump, maybe the size of a pea. I assumed it was just a cyst, or maybe an ingrown hair. Nothing to worry about. I told myself that over and over. But the itching persisted, and the lump, it grew. About a week in, I was standing in front of the bathroom mirror when I noticed it again. That lump, now larger, stretched the skin of my forearm unnaturally. I rubbed my fingers over it, pushing down slightly. And then, it moved. A tiny shift just beneath my fingers, like something was shifting under the skin. My breath caught in my throat. I froze, staring at my reflection, waiting, hoping I had imagined it. Then it moved again. This time I felt a distinct twitch, a writhing, unnatural squirm. I panicked. Clawing at my arm, I tried to feel deeper, pressing down harder, trying to convince myself this was just a muscle spasm or a nerve twitch. But deep inside, I knew. Muscles don't crawl. I needed help. Now. I rushed to the nearest clinic. The doctor, an older man with tired eyes, examined my arm with mild curiosity. Probably a simple cyst, he muttered, pressing the lump. It didn't move this time. I felt relief wash over me. Maybe I had imagined it. Maybe I was just paranoid. Then he took out a scalpel. This should be quick, he assured me, just a small incision. The moment the blade touched my skin, it reacted. A violent, writhing jerk beneath my flesh. The doctor jumped back, eyes wide. "What the hell was that?" he whispered. The thing inside me thrashed, pressing against the cut, trying to escape. I felt it push against my skin, stretching it outward in a grotesque bulge. Then the worst part, the incision started closing on its own. The doctor's hands trembled. This isn't normal. Number, it wasn't. That night, I couldn't sleep. The itching had turned to burning, the lump now pulsating beneath my skin. I sat in front of my mirror, shaking, trying to convince myself I was dreaming. Then I saw something horrifying. The skin on my forearm rippled, like something was moving just beneath the surface, stretching my flesh in slow, deliberate waves. The sensation sent ice-cold terror through my veins. I grabbed a knife. My breathing was ragged, my hands shaking. If the doctor wouldn't cut it out, I would. I pressed the tip against my skin. And then, it spoke. A whisper. A voice inside my own head. "Don't," I gasped, dropping the knife. My reflection stared back at me, horrified. But the voice, it wasn't coming from my mind. It was coming from inside me. "We are not ready yet," I screamed. By the next day, the lump was gone. Instead, there were dozens of them. Tiny, pulsating bumps running up my arms, my legs, my chest, each one moving independently, shifting beneath my skin like they were burrowing deeper. The whispers became constant. They no longer sounded foreign. They sounded like me. I stopped going outside, stopped answering calls. I sat in the dark, trembling, feeling them grow inside me. Every now and then I could feel one of them pushing upward, trying to breach the surface, but they weren't ready yet. Not yet. And then, last night, I woke up to a horrific sight. The mirror. I wasn't alone in my reflection. My face, it was splitting. Cracks ran along my skin like something underneath was trying to break free. My eyes were too wide, my lips stretched too thin. I looked wrong, and for the first time I saw what had been whispering to me all along. It wasn't me anymore. If you're watching this, check your skin, scratch an itch. Watch closely, because they're inside you too, and when they're ready, you won't be you anymore.